Good afternoon. This is Ron Mickens. Fraud upon the court. You know the topic. The truth is in the details. So stay with me. Jerry Hill, we know. He started it all. He perpetrated this fraud, this conspiracy, this cover-up against us, Ron and Gloria Mickens. He sent us an affidavit from the very beginning, a homemade affidavit, I guess, that he wanted my wife and I to sign. He said, each one of us. Here's a copy of it. I'll hold it up. It's affidavit. Lies, fraudulent. He had a major misrepresentation in it. That major misrepresentation was that Ron and Gloria Mickens transferred their property to Damron Construction Company. That's a lie. That's a major misrepresentation. And he did this to extricate, he fashioned it to extricate Canady, Rewis, Highsmith, the Damron, Stewart Title of Polk, and Stewart Title Guaranty Company, to extricate or release them from their liability and responsibilities for their crimes and torts. He also did it to extricate and release himself from liability and responsibility for failing to investigate, charge, prosecute, arrest, and imprison these co-conspirators. They belong in jail from the moment she confessed. So stay with me. And he's also fashioned this thing to extricate himself from liability and responsibilities for this cover-up, because he's doing it to collect the blood money. He's doing it to collect the blood money. So stay with me. I think we all understand how and why Canady, Rewis, Highsmith, the Damrons, Stewart Title Guaranty Company, Stewart Title Polk is co-conspirators. They are co-conspirators. They are co-conspirators that conspired and agreed to commit together notary, failure to validate signatures, malfeasance and misfeasance, false or fraudulent, took an acknowledgement, notary performance of prohibited acts, false prepared, false made, false executed, false witness, false notarized, false delivered, and false recorded a quitclaim deed. They fraudulently transferred or conveyed our property. They fraudulently encumbered our property with a mortgage in favor of Damron Construction Company without our knowledge or consent. They fraudulently converted our title. They slandered our title. They committed silver theft. They built the house under false pretenses. They committed forgery. They uttered a forged instrument. They committed extortion. They committed fraud, mortgage fraud, real estate fraud, wire fraud, bank fraud, civil and criminal conspiracy, equitable estoppel, negligence, intentional, and negligent infliction of emotional distress, statutory fraud, organized fraud, scheme to defraud, racketeering, violation of civil and criminal RICO. Okay, they conspired together. Jerry Hill is covering all of these crimes up, and they knew that they committed these crimes like they knew the back of their hand as soon as she confessed to false notarizing and false witnessing, false preparing that fraudulent, frivolous, quick claim deed. Now, Miss Canady, she was a title insurance agent. She was the issuing agent. She was notary public. She was a title researcher. She researched the title, and she was the closing agent. State Attorney Jerry Hill and his so-called experienced investigator Don Pale, they knew it like they know the back of their hand that this lady conduct was manifold and egregious was outstandingly bad, unconscionable, that her conduct was outrageous, shocking, reckless, malicious, intentional, willful, pretextual, negligent. Okay? It was no accident. This lady committed, and along with Miss Rewis, they committed these crimes, all the crimes that a title and closer agent could possibly commit. So you gotta what? You gotta stay with me, because Jerry Hill, he was the one that perpetrated this frivolous, fraudulent complaint that Stewart Title Guaranty Company, that Damron's them, filed. They filed it in Damron Construction Company's name. But you got to remember, they are all co-conspirators. But Jerry Hill perpetrated it all, because Jerry Hill, it was predicated on Jerry Hill's fraudulent misrepresentation that we transferred our title to Damron Construction Company. He maintained that lie. He maintained that lie so they could maliciously prosecute us, so that they could maliciously abuse and misuse the legal process, so that they could obstruct justice, so that they could obstruct a criminal investigation. Okay, he's covering up. He's covering up, and he's covering up for the blood money. And he knows that he is required. He has a lawful duty to investigate, arrest these people, and put them in jail. That's where they belong. The law requires him to do that. But we go to court because of this frivolous, fake complaint / foreclosure that they filed against us, purporting to be the plaintiff. Anyway, Judge Strickland ruled in our favor on our 5 claims: fraud, cancellation of deed, quiet title, ejectment, and breach of construction contract claims and causes of action. Doesn't that prove that Jerry Hill failed to do his job? Judge Strickland found that the Damrons, when I said the Damrons, that include all of them, the co-conspirators. He found Damron guilty of misrepresenting the nature of a deed, fraud in the inducement of chase and us, fraud in the execution of the deed, fraud in the formation and performance of the construction contract, fraudulently maintain and obtain a claim to fee simple title to our property. Doesn't that prove that Jerry Hill failed to do his job? He was covering up. He was required to put these people in jail. I'm just telling it like it is. Investigate, charge, prosecute, arrest, and imprison them. Okay? They already confessed. Now Judge Strickland done proved it in a formal hearing. Now here's Judge Strickland going to join the conspiracy, because he's going to render his own personal, unique judgment / remedy to extricate them from liability and responsibilities for their crimes and their tort, and to extricate Jerry Hill from his liability for his crimes and his torts. Okay? So the Second District Court of Appeal, we appeal, Second District Court of Appeal, reversed Judge Strickland's own personal, unique judgment / remedy, because it was unsupported by the pleadings, unsupported by the evidence, unsupported by the record, objected to by both parties. So, Judge Strickland now is required to enforce his judgment, but he commit this criminal act called non-feasance. He refused to enforce his own final judgment. He unlawfully disqualifies himself, because that's just evading his lawful duty. Okay, Judge Moore replaces him, and she comes in with this non sequitur. This is a gigantic. Oh, it's undescribable how egregious, how unconscionable, just how evil this fraudulent misrepresentation. She said that Ron and Gloria Mickens was essentially, we essentially desired and sought rescission. Okay? Now, what she's doing, she's trying to trick us into giving her consent to replace Strickland, to supplant Strickland's findings on our 5 claims, to reverse Strickland, to omit Strickland's finding, to annul Strickland's finding, to abandon, to abort. Okay? Okay, and also to abort those 5 claims and causes of action that we prevailed on, plus we have added 22 more claims. So this is what she's asking us to do. She's asking us to give up 27 claims that we are entitled to prevail on as a matter of law against all of the co-conspirators in exchange for us giving the co-conspirators a judgment, or she ordering us to pay the co-conspirators a judgment. Now, who in their right mind would do such a thing, or could do such a thing? Okay? We rejected that. We objected to that. But the Second District Court of Appeal affirmed it. So they imposed it on us. This is just fraud upon the court. Okay, so this is why when they got to Judge Constein, Judge Durrance refused to do it. Judge McDonald refused to do it. So this is why I said Judge Constein was their man, because Judge Constein going to enter into these fraudulent misrepresentation, these fraudulent orders and judgments against Ron and Gloria Mickens. Ron and Gloria Mickens hadn't did anything to anybody. The Damrons, we didn't do anything to Damron. Damron was the fraudulent owner, and he was the contractor. We tried to terminate the Damrons 3 times in writing, numerous times orally. He breached our construction contract from 50 to 100 times. We had no control over him, none whatsoever. Okay? We just got lucky and cleared the title to prevent him from selling our property out to somebody else. Okay? So, and you know, Stewart Title Guaranty Company, Stewart Title of Polk, Canady, Rewis, and Highsmith, we didn't know these people. These people done conducted a closing on our property for over 5.5 months, and we never heard of them. So how in the world are they entitled to a foreclosure judgment against Ron and Gloria Mickens? You see the fraud on the court? Okay? Judge Constein gonna give Damron Construction Company a judgment against Ron and Gloria Mickens based on an order that the Damrons objected to, said was fraudulent, said the court lacked jurisdiction. Nobody invoked the court's jurisdiction for such an order. It was outside the law. How you gonna give Damron the judgment that's outside the law? But you got to understand this, so stay with me on this. One lie leads to another lie. All of Judge Constein's orders is originated, or they are derivatives from Judge Moore, fraudulent misrepresentation that we essentially desire and sought rescission. They have no claims. They have no cause of action. A Stewart Title Guaranty Company cannot allege that we were in no mortgage with them, that we failed to pay a mortgage. Okay, they originated these fraudulent misrepresentations and orders from Judge Moore, fraudulent misrepresentation. Judge Constein gonna fabricate something called a trial order. A trial order. He's calling it a trial order because they ain't got no claims and no cause of action. But he's going to use this so-called trial order to reverse, to replace, to annul or abort Judge Strickland's findings on our 5 claims. Judge Strickland's findings on the merits of our claims is protected by res judicata and collateral estoppel, claim preclusion, issue preclusion, meaning that the claims and issues cannot be relitigated all judges and lawyers in the entire country knows that, like they know the back of their hands. And please understand that he created all of these fraudulent judgments from a fraudulent misrepresentation that Jerry Hill perpetrated and Judge Moore. That's the only way that he could possibly do it. And then he used these fraudulent judgments to do what? To stigmatize us, to defame us, to destroy us, to set us up, to have a sheriff's SWAT team come out and lock us up or kill us if we try to defend our property. We have a constitutional right to defend our property, but nobody's going to, you have to be out of your mind talking about defending your property against a sheriff SWAT team. And when they are out there to enforce invalid orders, fraudulent orders, void orders, okay? I don't know whether they knew or not, but police officers and sheriff officers, they just follow orders, whether they're lawful or unlawful, okay? But you got to remember, he's doing it for the blood money. He knew that she had, Jerry Hill especially, he knew that she had committed these criminal acts from the very beginning. But he was already collecting the blood money. I hope you can see the cover-up is unequivocally clear. We did nothing to anybody. Okay? We didn't know Stewart Title of Polk, Stewart Title Guaranty Company, Carey, Rewis, Highsmith. We knew the Damron. We was in a construction contract with Damron, but he breached that contract. He aborted that contract. He went to Chase, and he went to Stewart Title, and they secretly made a fraudulent quitclaim deed, transferring property that we own without our knowledge or consent. And we didn't find out about it until 5.5 months later. So that is why he was able to breach the contract anytime that he got ready to, and he did. That's why we couldn't terminate him. Okay? And we didn't know what the heck was going on. We went to the sheriff, we went to the VA, we went to Nation Bank where we had our loan and everything approved. Now, Jerry Hill says that, and Judge Constein especially, Judge Constein said, Ron and Gloria Mickens, we are much more lawless than the co-conspirators. We are much more lawless than Ms. Canady, Ms. Rewis, Stewart Title of Polk, Stewart Title Guaranty Company. I think you got it. But never fear, because I'm coming back. The truth is in the details, in the words of Ida B. Wells. The way to correct wrongs or to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. So stay with me, and I'm going to talk to you later.